Sensational. Stepping down the stage for a fan with disabilities, Jimin and Jungkook's actions in Baltimore overflow with tears. The atmosphere at the end of the BTS concert in Baltimore suddenly turned deeply emotional. Amidst the glittering stage lights, the shouts of thousands of ARMYs, and the grand production of the concert, Jimin and Jungkook's attention was instead drawn to a fan with special needs and disabilities located in the very front row. This moment became one of the parts that attracted the most attention. After hours of performing on stage, Jimin and Jungkook seemingly noticed the fan's presence. The two then chose to approach and give direct attention, as if the grandeur of the concert momentarily ceased to be the most important thing. Jimin was seen giving his concert towel to the fan. The simple object previously used during the performance instantly turned into a keepsake that will likely be kept for a very long time. Not stopping there, Jungkook also made a gesture that made the atmosphere even more touching. He took off the hat he was wearing and gave it directly to the fan. For some ARMYs watching from the stands, that action felt far more emotional than merely handing out merchandise. The towel and hat might not be luxury items, but because they were given directly by two BTS members at the end of the concert, their value naturally became very personal to the recipient. What made the moment even more touching was the atmosphere around them. Thousands of ARMYs who were previously shouting along with the concert gradually turned their attention to the interaction. Cameras and stage spotlights seemed to join in capturing a moment that was much simpler than the spectacular show that had just taken place. Jimin and Jungkook did not need complex choreography to change the atmosphere. Just by approaching a fan, giving away personal items they used on stage, and showing direct care, the two managed to create a moment that touched many people. For the fan with disabilities, the opportunity to be so close to Jimin and Jungkook was certainly already an unforgettable experience. However, when the two then gave items they wore or used during the concert, that experience turned into a much more special memory. The moment also revealed another side of a large-scale concert. Behind the giant screens, light effects, music sound, and fantastically priced stage setups, there lay a very simple human interaction. Precisely that interaction then became one of the most memorable parts for the audience. Netizens actively discussed the action as well. Many felt that Jimin and Jungkook's attention showed how a small gesture could carry great meaning for someone. It was not about how expensive the gift given was, but rather who gave it and how the moment happened. There were also ARMYs who admitted to shedding tears when seeing the fan receive the gifts from Jimin and Jungkook. Some even highlighted that the two did not need to do anything over the top to create an emotional moment. Simple care was enough to transform the entire mood of the concert. Interestingly, this moment occurred when the concert was nearly over. Audience attention was supposed to remain focused on the final performance and the excitement of the closing event. Yet, the brief interaction near the front row instead became one of the most discussed stories after the concert ended. For Jimin and Jungkook, perhaps the action only lasted for a short time. But for the fan who received it, those few seconds could become a memory cherished for years to come. In the end, the Baltimore concert did not just leave behind stories of a grand stage and spectacular performances by BTS. There was a simple moment when Jimin handed over his towel, and Jungkook gave his hat to a fan with disabilities. And right as the thousands of stage lights began to dim, that small moment seemed to serve as a reminder that the most touching part of a concert is sometimes not what happens on stage, but the sincere care given to someone among thousands of audience members. Yet one question still left many ARMYs curious. What actually happened during the exact seconds when Jimin and Jungkook noticed the fans' presence up until they decided to give away their personal items? Discussions regarding the moment then spread even wider. For many ARMYs, what made Jimin and Jungkook's action feel special was not the towel or hat given, but the care that emerged in such a brief moment. A number of fans noted that there is a big difference between receiving an item tossed from the stage and getting that object directly from the idol. When Jimin handed over his towel and Jungkook gave his hat, the interaction created a far more personal experience for the fan in the front row. The emotional reaction did not come solely from the recipient. ARMYs watching the event from the stands also got caught up in the mood. Some even admitted to feeling a mix of happiness, emotion, and sadness seeing how a concert so grand suddenly turned into a simple human encounter. There were also fans who highlighted that moments like this show a different side of a BTS concert. During the show, the members perform as entertainers on stage with choreography, vocals, lighting, and large-scale production. Yet beyond all that, they can still give attention to someone standing right in front of them. This subsequently became its own topic of conversation among netizens. Many felt that small acts of care, such as turning around, approaching, handing something over, or making sure a fan feels noticed, can actually leave a longer impression than a spectacular performance. In fact, several ARMYs began imagining how the fan felt after returning home from the concert. If the concert ticket was previously already a valuable memory, the experience now carried an additional story that was far more personal. Imagine bringing home a towel given by Jimin and a hat from Jungkook. Every time looking at those two items, most likely what comes to mind is not just the Baltimore concert, but also the second when the two BTS members gave direct attention. This is what led netizens to say that the value of a gift is not always determined by its price. A simple object can become extremely valuable when it holds an emotional story behind it. Attention was also drawn to Jimin giving his towel. For fans, that towel was no longer just equipment used during the concert. After changing hands, the object became part of a personal story that would likely be kept very carefully. The same applied to Jungkook's hat. An item previously attached to his performance on stage suddenly possessed a new meaning after being given to a fan. What made it all the more touching was that both gifts occurred at the end of the show. When the concert was almost over, every interaction with a member felt like a final opportunity before they left the stage. Because of that, the moment felt like an unplanned emotional conclusion. After being mesmerized by BTS's performance, the audience instead received another surprise in the form of simple care. Jimin's expression changed upon noticing the fan in the front row. Attention then focused on Jimin's expression when he noticed the presence of a fan with disabilities in the very front row. In the midst of a concert atmosphere still filled with the energy and cheers of ARMY, Jimin was seen shifting his attention toward that fan. That change in expression became one of the details that made the moment feel even more emotional. Jimin, who was previously in performance mode, then appeared gentler and focused on paying attention to what was happening near the stage. For viewers watching from the stands, that small change felt even stronger compared to grand gestures on stage. Jimin seemed to pause for a moment from a hustle and bustle of the concert to ensure that the fan in front of him received attention. The situation then unfolded when Jimin gave his concert towel. The gesture seemed simple, but because it was done directly, the object naturally held a much greater emotional value for the recipient. The towel previously used by Jimin during the performance now turned into a keepsake from a night that would likely not be easily forgotten. For the fan, it was perhaps not the price of the object that mattered, but the moment when Jimin chose to hand it over directly. Jimin's reaction also drew ARMY's attention because it showed a different side of a performer. During the concert, Jimin performed as one of the main focal points on stage. Yet upon seeing the fan in the front row, his focus seemed to shift from the performance to a personal interaction. The moment was all the more touching because it happened toward the end of the concert. After going through a long lineup of performances, Jimin was still giving care to the fan standing before him. Not long after, Jungkook also joined in giving attention to the fan by taking off his hat. That action made the atmosphere even more emotional, as two members simultaneously gave items they used during the concert. For ARMY, the moment felt like a conversation without many words. Jimin gave his towel, Jungkook gave his hat, while the fan received everything full of emotion. Interestingly, the audience's attention was no longer directed at how massive the production of the Baltimore concert was. Lights, giant screens, music, and stage effects that were previously the center of attention seemed sidelined by that simple interaction. It was precisely Jimin's expression when he first noticed the fan's presence that made many people feel touched. There was an impression that amidst thousands of people filling the arena, an idol's attention could make one fan feel truly seen. This moment also served as a reminder that a concert is not just about performances on stage. For a fan, a single look, a greeting, or a simple gift from an idol previously only seen through a screen can become an intensely meaningful experience.